Hello everyone, it's PC Alpa here. In this video, we'll be talking about the richest video game developing companies in the world. So before starting this video, I would like you all to pause this video and write in the comment section which company do you think will be at the top of this list, and after watching this video, comment back if you are correct or not, or if you are surprised or disappointed by watching who's at the top. Now without any further ado, let's get started. Kicking off our list is 2K Games with a net worth of $3.22 billion. Is arguably one of the most divisive gaming developers out there, mostly because people think that the only thing that 2K knows is to cash in on its sports simulation games. However, a closer look at their portfolio reveals that 2K Games is responsible for release of some of the most well-known gaming titles today. In case some of you might not know, Rockstar Games is technically under 2K Games. This means that we owe 2K Games for the much beloved Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption franchises. With Grand Theft Auto 5 having brought in more than $6 billion revenue in the first half of the decade, it's easy to see how and why 2K Games is so big. Other developers under 2K Games include Gearbox Software of the Borderlands franchise. With so many good games behind them, 2K Games definitely doesn't deserve the reputation that they get. Now let's move to number 10. Number 10, Capcom. From Street Fighter to Devil May Cry and Resident Evil, Capcom became a $3.4 billion franchise. Capcom has rebounded from a rather lackluster start to this decade, thanks mostly to the success of recent entries to the Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and Monster Hunter franchises. With the success of future installments all but guaranteed at this point, as well as the possibility of a re-emergence of their dormant IPs, Capcom's status as one of the richest video game developers is safe out there. Now let's move to the 9th spot. Number 9, Ubisoft. Founded in 1986 by 5 brothers, Ubisoft is now a $3.7 franchise. This is largely because of Ubisoft's savvy business moves and successful franchises. This includes their acquisition of the South Park IP from THQ, as well as them being the brains behind some of the most well-known gaming franchises of the past decade. Need we remind you, Ubisofts are the ones who develop fan favorites such as Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, as well as the Tom Clancy Rainbow Six and The Division. Considering how highly anticipated each iteration of the said franchises remain year in and year out, Ubisoft's net worth should only balloon going forward. Number 8 on our list is Valve. Reportedly valued only at around $4 billion, Valve doesn't rank among the richest video game developers despite being responsible for some of the most financially successful and critically acclaimed franchises such as Half-Life, Portal, Counter-Strike, and Dota 2. In addition to developing video games, Valve also has Steam, their very own distribution platform, to thank for their wealth. But still, Valve lags behind many companies and stays at number 8 on a list. Now let's move to number 7. Number 7 on a list is a $5.7 billion franchise, King. Talk about capitalizing on a trend, King are probably the least recognizable gaming developers on a list. However, they are one of the richest because of how they successfully rode on the success that was Candy Crush Saga. King released the ideal game at the right time in 2012. Candy Crush Saga combined simple gaming mechanics with social integration and an addictive leveling system. Not to mention that they were one of the few to actually see value of adding microtransactions that were more of an afterthought than a necessity. As a result, nearly a decade later, Candy Crush Saga remains just as big as it is today than it was before. If there's one thing that we can learn from King, it's that you don't need multiple games to make billions off the gaming industry. If you do it right, literally just one game is enough. Now let's move to number 6. Moving forward in a list towards the giants in gaming industry, number 6 is a $20.1 billion franchise, Nintendo. Nintendo was one of the pioneers of the gaming industry. Even though the company began as a card manufacturer more than a decade ago, Nintendo has navigated its way successfully in and out of Japan to become arguably the reason why the video game industry is where it stands today. Following the crash of 1982, most companies stayed away from the gaming industry like the plague, but not Nintendo. Instead, they released the Super Mario Bros. On Nintendo Entertainment System, which many credits as the one title that helped revitalize interest in the industry. Since then, Nintendo hasn't stopped. In addition to the Mario Brothers, Nintendo's other successful franchises include The Legend of Zelda, Star Fox, Donkey Kong, and many more. They have also released equally successful and highly innovative consoles as well. from the GameCube to the Wii, and the most recent creation, the Switch. With so many successful titles going for them, Nintendo could very well still be alive and kicking the next century. Now let's move towards number 5. Number 5 on our list is Electronic Arts, a $22.9 billion franchise which everyone knows about. Another one of the old guards, Electronic Arts remains just as relevant today as they did in years past. Unlike some of the older video game developers though, Electronic Arts are seen more as a villain than industry's hero. This is mostly because of their financial decisions and how they've chosen to monetize many of their titles. But for all their shortcomings, EA remains responsible for popularizing the annual release cycle that many sport titles still follow today. In addition to the success of each of their sport titles, EA has also acquired numerous developers and put them under their umbrella. This includes DICE, responsible for Battlefield franchise, and Respawn Entertainment, responsible for Titanfall. EA has also worked together with Disney for all the release of all the Star Wars gaming titles. The fact they have managed to land such a deal alone means that Electronic Arts should be set for life. Now let's move to number 4. Number 4 on our list is a $29.23 billion franchise, ACTIVISION Blizzard. Whereas Electronic Arts is public enemy number 1 in the eyes of many gamers, Activision Blizzard is right up there among the most reviled. However, just like with Electronic Arts, people just can't help but play their games. Thanks to their partnership, Activision Blizzard now houses some of the most profitable gaming franchises such as Call of Duty, Destiny, World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch. While Activision Blizzard has not been immune from failed ventures, but Activision Blizzard has the money to recover from such losses. Plus, with the expected success of their future Call of Duty releases, as well as the highly anticipated Diablo sequel, Diablo 4, it'll be a while before the company stops appearing on lists like these. Now let's move to number 3. Now we are starting our top 3 with a $45 billion franchise, Sony Entertainment. Easily one of the most recognizable names in the gaming industry, Sony Entertainment currently owns several records in the industry. This includes all 4 iterations of the PlayStation being listed as one of the 7 best-selling consoles of all time, with PlayStation 2 being ranked number 1 with 155 million units sold. Sony's success is largely owed to the numerous first-party games the company has under this belt. Many of the most popular titles on their consoles are exclusive. This means that gamers have no choice but to purchase a PlayStation to play titles like Uncharted and The Last of Us, as well as former PlayStation exclusive franchises like Red Dead Redemption and Metal Gear Solid. With the PlayStation 5 expected to be just as successful, if not even more successful than PlayStation 4, Sony Entertainment's hold as the top dog in the console market should remain. Now let's move to number 2. Number 2 on our list is a $48 billion franchise, Tencent. Whereas Sony is the king of console market, Tencent owns the mobile market. Having already acquired pretty much every other big mobile game developer, Tencent's net worth now stands at a whopping $48 billion as of April 2020. In addition to its investment in mobile game industry, Tencent also has stakes in numerous gaming companies. This includes League of Legends developers, Riot Games, of which they own 100%, Epic Games where they own 40% shares among others. While relatively unknown to most gamers, it feels like it's only a matter of time before Tencent becomes biggest and richest gaming developers out there. Now let's move to the number 1 on our list. Number 1 on our list is a $1 trillion franchise, Microsoft. Remember when we said that Tencent could very well become the richest gaming developers in the future? Scratch that. It likely won't happen in a lifetime. The reason? Microsoft. Microsoft aren't just one of the richest video game developers in the world, they're one of the richest companies ever. With a net worth of estimated to be well over $1 trillion, Microsoft is literally richer than most first world countries. However, unlike most of the companies on the list, Microsoft didn't make most of their money from video games. Although the Xbox has seen its fair shares of success since its release in the early 2000s, Microsoft still makes most of its money from the sales of their products and services. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked this video. If you like this, please leave a like on this video and also don't forget to subscribe for more gaming content like this. Thank you and have a nice day.